Hello? Hello? Yes! Hark and well met, folks, and welcome back to another stream. My name is RuneMeisterKris, and today we are back after a full week. A full week since my abdominal surgery, and now we are back in the backyard doing a cookout stream. How crazy is that? Hold on, I gotta come back over here. I'll be straight up. I have no way of knowing. I can't see anything. I couldn't get Wi-Fi in my backyard. I literally have my computer plugged into like an external... There's a owl out here. This is ridiculous. Guys, I'll be straight up. I don't know how long we're going to be able to do this. My computer couldn't get Wi-Fi back here. So I'm currently streaming off of a Wi-Fi hotspot on my cell phone. But yeah, today is our very special soup stream I've been talking about for a while, where, as many of you know, one of our favorite community archaeology fun facts to dish out to new people when they arrive on the stream is the infamous Viking Age triage soup, right? The special soup that Viking Age Scandinavians sometimes were known to brew up to give to their wounded warriors to find out if they were injured, right? So they made this real stanky onion soup, fed it to people who had gut wounds, and after like 10 or 15 minutes, they would smell the wounds, and if it smelled all free and clear, then they were good and they could be saved. But if it smelled really bad, like the onion soup, then they were in trouble and probably would not be able to be saved. So I have 3 holes in my stomach right now that were put there by a clanker that operated on me last week, and we're going to brew up some Viking Age onion soup, and I'm going to drink it and then make my wife smell my stomach and tell me if I'm going to die. Oh, also, guys, so since I have to play the part of a Viking warrior, I don't have any chainmail anymore, but one time when I was in high school, my mother got really into crochet, and she crocheted me this faux woolen chainmail coif. So there we go. Surprisingly more accurate than some of the other stuff that I wear. Is probably more accurate than the cloak. Genuinely, this is like the most comically cartoonish sounding owl. Like a genuine like hoo hoo. Anyway, okay, so here's the ingredient list for tonight. It's pretty simple. I got this recipe off of these dudes I saw doing a historical reenactment on YouTube who looked like they did it way better than I'm about to be doing it. But if you guys want to look them up, they're on YouTube. It's just like looking up the Viking Age onion soup. It should be like the biggest one that pops up or whatever. It's like 2 dudes in the friggin' mountains of Scandinavia cooking stew by a creek and doing it better than me. So anyway, this recipe is loosely based on what they had, because looking at the ingredients that they used, it's pretty consistent. I had to substitute one ingredient, and I'll get to that in a second. Actually, I'll get to it right now. Forget what I said. It's the thing is coming right now. So the first ingredient that they called for was actually crackling. It's kind of like the fatty leftover parts of like pork or other dark meat. The only one we could find was like a tub for like $25, and I wasn't really ready to drop a huge $25 10-pound bucket that I was going to use once and only like a handful of it. So I'm going to substitute that in with bacon. I'm going to use like the fattier parts of bacon. The point of that really is just to kind of like grease the pan and to like thicken stuff up later. The rest of the stuff we got obviously is a big fat onion. I have 1 mondo onion. I don't know how much of each ingredient I'm supposed to use, so I'm just going to use like the entirety of all of them to make it very pungent, because I think that's the whole point. I also saw they used 2 kinds of onions, so I did too. So I picked up a shallot. And then the other thing is I bought leeks. So I have genuine, far-fetched from Pokemon leeks, and we're going to be chopping up one of these guys and putting it in there. Oh, and then the last thing that I don't have on here is garlic. So there's garlic. I have a whole bunch of cloves in there. I forgot to bring it out. And then the other two things for the actual like stock is we're going to put in a few cups of beef stock, as well as the recipe calls for Frankish wine. So I went to the grocery store and I bought the cheapest French wine that I could find. So we're going to have cheap French wine thrown in there too. I can tell if there's a leak. Oh, right. You use leeks to tell if there's a leak in your stomach? That's such a good joke. I'm really mad I didn't think of that. All right. So let's set the scene with this electro-funk version of Gravity Falls playing in the background. Let's set the scene. It's the 800s AD. I'm in the frozen tundras, lost and alone. Look at this stone wall we have here. I'm hiding behind it to get away from the dang Anglo-Saxons. Oh gosh, these 3 very precisely made abdominal wounds, done for medical purposes, but we're not going to talk about that. Oh, I need to check to see if I'm operable, or if I'm going to die from horrible internal bleeding. Let's instead of resting and spending time to recover and take care of ourselves, let's make soup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the bacon for last, actually, because we're going to need the pot, the cast iron on there first. So I think the leek is going to go in last. We're gonna put on the cast iron. The bacon is gonna go in first to take the place of the chitlins. That's gonna grease up the pan and kind of reduce down and make this nice little like base. Then I'm gonna throw in the 2 types of onions and the garlic, and we're gonna let that cook down for a minute. Then we're gonna add in the beef stock and the French wine, and then the leek is gonna go in last. So let's get started. I brought this cutting board out. This is a drawer. I have a cutting board drawer in my kitchen where you like pull it out from under the counter. So I just pulled the entire thing out. I was like, I'm using this tonight. I got a lot, right? So normally I'll use like a clove of garlic when I'm cooking. I grabbed 3 and they're all huge. Remember, this meal has to stank, so I'm getting extra ingredients in here. Normally I cut it a lot like bigger and thicker. Usually I dice it up a lot more, make it smaller. But this time, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. But I'm not the type of guy who can just like eat raw garlic. I had a roommate who used to do that all the time. He used to just like take raw garlic and just face it. And I was like, wow, it's good for my heart health. I'm like, yeah, but it's terrible for me who has to smell you. Good. Nice big chopped pieces on that garlic. I'm excited. I rarely cook garlic this like big. Next up, we're gonna use 1 onion. I got like the biggest onion that we could find. There we go. Ooh. Cross section? Do you guys care about the onion cross section? Oh gosh. There we go. Okay. So now we've got the pot on. It's a cast iron. And so we're going to let that heat up a little bit. I might have to rotate it at some point, and I think I can do that because I'm not really lifting. Once it's preheated pretty good, then we'll throw the bacon in and let the bacon start cooking and reducing so that we can get that that faux crackling substitute. If you have a lid for it, you can put some coals on top. Yeah, that's a really good idea. The problem is I don't really have a shovel. Like, I don't have any like fireplace tools. Or like anything to put the coals on top with. So I'm probably just going to cook it however I can. Archaeologist with no shovel? Okay, wait, no, I have shovel, just not that kind of shovel. I have the wrong kind of shovel. Alright, now I'm going to get to work on cutting up this onion. I think I'm going to cut like most of it into like, I don't know, maybe I'll cut it 3 ways. Like I'll dice it, I'll slice it, and I'll chop it. I haven't decided yet. Enough with the shovel stuff, guys. I don't have a fire pit shovel. I have shovels. I have like 3 archaeological shovels. But do you really want me to like I'm asking this rhetorically because you guys are going to answer yes and I'm not doing it. and I need you to understand that. But do you really want me to have to dig out a friggin' like 6-foot shovel or 5-foot shovel, whatever it is, just to put some coals on top of a crock pot? Okay. You use a shovel to dig out the shovel. Christ almighty. He's a thinker. Yeah, this man knows his shovels. Yeah, guys, I was so super excited when I had this idea to do this stream. The amount of times that I've mentioned this specific recipe on stream and this method of medicine in the Viking Age, it just comes up so much that being able to implement it is really, really fun for me. Number 2, we know I love an excuse to do a good cooking stream. And number 3, I'm also just really curious to try it. Before the garage computer building stream, I never did stuff like this, but I really like doing these kind of action streams. I would stream archaeology if I wasn't under an NDA half the time. I would stream myself doing archaeological investigations, but you can't really do it on private land without I'd need to put in a bunch of one calls for literally no reason, just to put a hole in my backyard. Also, I live in the least archaeologically significant location. This retaining wall here, I live on an actual hillside. This is just cut into the wall. So here's what we've got, right? We've got garlic chopped up, we've got onion sliced, onion diced, and onion chopped into kind of bigger chunks. I didn't know what the right way to do it was, so I did it as many ways as I could. The last thing we need to do is the shallot. Oh shoot, you know what I gotta do? I gotta turn the pot. Alright, turn the pot to the other side to kind of even out the heat on it. I'm going to chop up the shallot. And then we're going to put the bacon in the pot to start reducing down and getting that oil on the bottom. Bridchala also left me a little bit of butter. The original recipe did not call for butter. However, Viking Age Scandinavians were able to make and use butter. So I think I'm going to throw a knob in there anyway. Just to see if it helps with the reduction. Also, this is a pretty new cast iron. I've had it for years, but I barely ever use it. So I think the butter is going to help with the cooking process. I don't want to freak it out. So we're going to put a nice knob of butter in there too. I should probably get that first. Let me get that. I forgot. Our butter is spreadable. Our butter's spreadable, so I gotta scoop it out with the knife. All right. Well, I'm gonna take a glob of butter and toss it in there. There we go. A nice glob of butter. All right. Today I learned butter is flammable. I put it in there, it started sizzling, and I went to stir it around, and I caught the edge of the fire, and it just flambéed up in the middle of the thing. I have some bacon here. I'm just gonna quickly dice it up. A real rough chop. A rough chop happening with the bacon here. Okay. Fortunately, this knife I have is really, really sharp, so it works well. So while that cooks in there, really quick, I'm going to go get a ladle, because I'm going to need something to stir all this with, and then wash my hands. And then we can come back and cook the rest. Be right back. Alright. Sick. Alright, so I knew it already, but bacon grease is super flammable. Hey, you know what? It's all about the aura farming here. Right, chat? Alright. Now I gotta work quick, because that bacon is reducing hella quick. Getting the skin off of these shallots. Same as with any onion. You know what they say, donkey. Onions are like ogres. They've got layers. I'm getting the feeling that we should have waited a little bit longer before putting the bacon in, but oh well. I'm rushing this a little bit, which is awesome. It's a real authentic Viking Age experience, because if I was like bleeding from the guts, I would be in a rush. Guys, looking at it in the pot, this is an unholy amount of onion. Here we go. I am going to add more butter because there was so much onion in there that I need more. I just added like another huge glob, so that should cover it. Okay. How cold is it? I'm taking off layers, making you feel cold. It's cold, but I also don't want the cloak to catch on fire. That's also where I'm wearing this wool chainmail coif, which is a fit. But honestly, this cloak, you wouldn't think it, and it's worse now that it's ripped, but this thing is ludicrously warm. The amount of times that this cloak saved someone's life during LARPing in Massachusetts winters, it's more than one person. Snow push-ups? I'm not doing snow push-ups, Brassy. I'm not allowed to push, pull, or lift more than 10 pounds for a calendar month. I'm not doing snow push-ups, you psychopath. I'm gonna blow my guts out through the 3 holes in my tummy. This man's looking for Hospital Stream Part 2. Yeah, let's not try and kill me today. This is the part I'm most excited about, the leaks. Mainly because, like, I don't know if I've ever had a leak. Oh wait, didn't Mrs. Gunner ask for a fun fact like an hour ago? I have a fun fact for you. So genuinely, this one's actually insane. You guys ready for this? So another Viking Age fun fact. Today, I used one of those pre-made log fire starters that has like the paper around it. Right? That's how I got the fire started today. In Viking Age Scandinavia, I shit you not, there was a method of creating fire starters that involved taking certain different types of ingredients like dried grasses or you know, different types of plant material. And I've heard mixed discussions on whether or not they used a certain type of mushroom or ate a certain type of mushroom. Not the berserker one, a different mushroom. I've heard mixed results about that. But what they would do is they would create this puck and they would pee on it. They would urinate on this puck and just let it saturate and soak it up and turn into this huge, like, saturated fat pee puck. And then they would dry it out. And because of, like, what they ate and how they prepared it, this was an incredible fire starter. I forget if it, like, part of me wants to say, yeah, I think that's what I remember hearing about it. It was a huge piss puck that was a fire starter. I'm not really sure how to prepare leek, but I think you do it similar to like green onion. But what I'm doing is I'm going to do some diagonal cuts. I'm going to go all the way through the white and a little bit up into the green. So this is what I did with it. I kind of turned it into these like slanted pucks of leek. I don't really know what it is. Experimental archaeology? Are you guys telling me to piss on my fire? No, I have not tried creating the pea fire starter puck. This is pretty experimental. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Did they eat sulfur in aluminum packets? I don't know, maybe. You need to rinse them well after cutting because stuff gets caught between the layers. What kind of stuff? I'm not going to rinse this. I'll be honest, guys. This is soup. This is going to be a scuff soup. Like, what kind of stuff? Like, bad stuff. Bugs and dirt. Fine. I'll get a frickin' sieve. Let me stir, and then I'll go rinse it really quick. Next, we're going to add about 4 cups of beef stock. I don't know if this is a good amount, but we're going to do it. The recipe then calls for Frankish wine. The Franks aren't really a thing anymore, but I went to the grocery store and I got the cheapest bottle of French wine that I could find. And it is an actual one from France, not like a California one from France. So we're gonna pour some of this in there. I didn't really get measurements. That's mid. Okay, 2 more cups of water. All right, we've done it. Oh my god, guys. The soup is like black. Hold on. So I will say the black bits are, I'm pretty sure, the bacon. The leeks aren't done yet. Yeah, no shit. I just put them in. Ashlander soup turned into a Morrowind recipe. Yeah, let's go. The onion still looks edible. That's the important part, right? We'll figure it out. Hold on a sec. Let me get some B-roll for the YouTube video. Fuck, shit. Pretty sure those are soot marks, not burn marks. It didn't hurt enough to sear my skin. So I definitely burned my finger, but they are not sear marks. They did rub off. Here. Another home remedy here. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Yes. By the way, my new nickname is Chestnuts. Oh, that stew is rolling boil. I'm trying to see if it smells good, but unfortunately, all I smell is smoke. All I smell is like camp smoke. Guys, I'll be straight up. I am having a blast right now. Like, I was a Boy Scout when I was a kid, when I was in high school, and we used to go camping like every month. I freaking miss campfire cooking. I miss doing stuff like this. All right, here. I got the ladle. I'll do a little ladle sippage. Put some snow in it. There's not a whole lot, so I'll just... Woo! There we go. There's not as much flavor as I was thinking. I definitely taste something. Okay, I'll be straight up. The flavor kind of creeps in after the fact. Need some pepper? Yeah, I could salt and pepper. You like how the shot makes me look like a hobo? I'll be honest, every shot makes me look like a hobo these days. Guys, my beard is out of control. Look at this shit. Look at this. Look at the state that I'm in. This is my beard. Guys, you want to know something? I brought Blue Eyes White Dragon and Gibble to meet Santa Claus right before my surgery, right? Me and Brachala did. And I had my beard. It was like, a week or two's shorter than it is now. The Santa offered me a job. He asked if I wanted to be a Santa. I was like, bro, you can't be doing me like that, man. Okay. We have bowl and spoon. Let's do this. So the immediate thing that I'm noticing is that way too much of the liquid boiled down. However, we have a finished product. Here we go. All right. Moment of truth. Let's see how this comes out. This is going to be so hot. I have to blow on this a lot. Yeah. I mean, it's tasty. It's tasty. It just does not have the punch that I thought it was going to have from the reputation. It's not bad. Like, would I make it again? Not if I was just sitting at home in my kitchen. Honestly, I thought the garlic was going to do more work than the onion. I'll be honest, the warmth of it is amazing in this weather. Ooh, here we go. Here's a big piece of leek. So here's one of those big, like wedges of leek. Let's see how this goes. It's pretty inoffensive. What can I compare that to? It's like, I want to say like a cabbage that doesn't have as much like punch to it. Leeks are a mid-onion flavor. They do taste kind of oniony, which tracks. I mean, it's an onion soup. Like I said, the flavor's not bad. I think the biggest detractors on this right now are the fact that I burned the bacon within an inch of its life. So it's coming out as like literal crunchies instead of being like savory pieces. Like if I was able to attend to it more and I hadn't burned the bacon, I feel like it would be adding a tremendous amount to this. Slimy deliciousness, hell yeah. Add some healing magic to it. Man, it's doing it all by itself. I can feel my wounds stitching. Yeah, I mean, if I was like setting up camp for the night, I'd have more bowls of this. I feel like the garlic and a lot of the onion also got caught up in the extra burnedness of the bacon. Because there's a lot more black bits in here that would indicate more than just the bacon. I feel like if I had cooked this on a stove without the fire encroaching into the actual pot, I feel like we would have been in a really good spot. I just realized I'm almost at the Gimli, like, wiping my own mouth with my beard. I can do it! I can wipe my own mouth with my beard. That's crazy, dude. This stew also, realistically, would benefit from something like big beef chunks. Drink this. There we go, guys. Empty. That's something that I don't know if I would make again. Or if I did, I would heavily alter the recipe. I think that if I did make it again, it would be very specifically under the pretense of seeing if I cook it on a range under like more controlled conditions where I don't burn the bacon and like the fire isn't exploding out of the pit around me. One soup later. The only thing is to go and see if my wife will smell my stomach and tell me if I'm going to die. All right, guys. I'm going to go get the verdict from Brachala and find out if my stomach smells like onion soup. If it does, then we're in trouble. And if it does not, then I'm going to live. And the doctor and those clanker robots that robotically surgered my body, we'll have a phone call. Good news, everybody! My stomach doesn't smell like soup! No music? We have successfully triaged my tummy, and I am in good shape. Hooray! Well, chat, we did it. We triaged ourselves in a historic medieval Viking Age way. We made some onion and leek soup. We ate it up. We got the sniff test and confirmed that we are not dying of the abdominal wounds that I received as part of my medically induced surgery last week. This is real. It works. I don't know if it works. I feel like maybe it was a little bit later than it should have been, but anyway. Oh, here, the last thing I'll do before we go.
I came here to save you.
Good soup.